So, good afternoon, everybody. We're here this afternoon, an exciting day. We've got a lot of good things to talk about on despite the bad things that have been going on here in Minnesota. We want to have an opportunity to focus on some positive things this afternoon, and that's what we're here to talk about. With Tracy's Keeping It Real, we're talking about Martin Luther King and the positive things that he did bring to give us opportunity to do things. And so this afternoon, I'm here with Ashley Oolman, and she is with the governor's office, and she's also going to probably say her name better than I just did, just in case I just might not have said it right. So this afternoon, tell us, Ashley, how do you pronounce your name, and then what do you do at the governor's office?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Auntie Tracy, for having me. My name is Ashley Storm Ullman. And yeah, I serve as Minnesota's Chief Equity Officer. I work for the Walls Flanagan administration, and it has been a distinct honor to serve on behalf of community.
Nice. And so it's a busy office there today, as we well know. Unfortunately, there was a lot of crazy things going on in the state that's got the governor doing a lot of things today. But what do you do there for the governor and for the lieutenant governor?
Yes, yes, yes. So the work of the Chief Equity Officer is all about translating community priorities into systems change. It's the work of bringing the people closer to the government that works on their behalf. There's something to be said about a system that was not built to work for a lot of people. And now in this present moment, in this time, if that is something that we want to achieve or arrive at, one Minnesota, a place where everybody can thrive, that means we got to do a little bit of work to understand where improvements can be made. How are things landing, working or not working for communities so that they can be a part of making it right?
Wow. So that, and we also realized that there was a thing that was taking your position out of a lot of corporate America. So how is that working in the governor's office, and how is that fight for civil rights in Minnesota working for us?
Yes, 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 yes. Well, first and foremost, when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, liberation, justice, belong, the list, the words go on and on and on. We could use so many things, but to me, this work has always been about the bottom line: what is happening and is it working? It's about the scoreboard. No matter what people think, believe, are inspired to do, what their vision. It's like at the end of the day, did we get it done or not? And so, as far as corporate, I don't know what to say about corporate America. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's out of my arena. But what I will say is, this is not the first time in American history where we have changed the words for the work that we're doing to impact people, right? And to me, whatever words we have to use to make sure that we stay focused on where we're headed, that we all understand, what we're talking about, I think is what's most important. So as far as the chief equity officer role here in Minnesota, I think the privilege that I have had over these last couple of months, 2025 in particular, is this idea of making space in state government for true meaningful connection, to disrupt the processes a bit and make room for where community voice or folks who receive services or whatever it is are naturally a part of how we do business. And so that to me, it's despite all the hype that's online and the shenanigans that might be coming out of DC, at the end of the day, equity and inclusion is about making sure that people know what's happening, and that whatever it is that we're working on is effective. And so, regardless of what we use to describe that, I think we are so well positioned here in Minnesota to keep doing that.
And I think it looks like right now Minnesota is kind of like leading the charge
Come on.
in the United States here. So I think that it's great that the council, the government, the governor's office is really looking seriously at continuing to make sure that diversity and inclusion is still a part of the mission and the vision that's happening.
That's
And
right.
and even so much still that when we look at the MLK theme. I'm wondering, how did the council decide to keep that theme alive after 40 years? We're celebrating 40 years.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to give the biggest shout out to the incredible MLK council members. Every time we meet, it honestly feels like a whole family reunion. And so just all of the kudos and thank yous and gratitude to the council members that serve. This is a group of Black leaders from all different vantage points, all, a bunch of different ages, different, professional lanes that we operate and that we, work. That we work within. And it's just such a beautiful tapestry of the past, the present, and the future. Last year, if y'all remember, we were planning MLK during a national campaign. And I'm the kind of girl, like around the way girl. Like I didn't grow up in a time space where I had the fortune of being able to know that everything was going to be okay next week, next month, and so in this time of uncertainty where it's really, disruptive and across sectors, it's been really challenging. Like, if I'm being honest, that kind of chaotic, we don't know what's going to happen next, but we just got to keep it together is like, that was the environment I, grew up in. And so back in 24, we were planning the MLK celebration. And again, in that moment, it was, we don't know who's going to be elected president. After we did know, then that brought even more uncertainty. And that is why last year we punched it up a notch with Hometown Heroes, because we knew in that moment, regardless of what's happening, regardless of the hype, people need to know and remember who got us this far in the first place, and hear directly from them. So to answer your question about Echoes of Unity and where we're building from, we lived through 2025 is what had happened. We welcomed about half the council, turned over. We had a bunch of new appointees, and that's always fun, fresh energy and all that. And ultimately, again, this is a group of Black leaders, wherever, whatever space they're operating in, and we were just working through the realities that mainstream, and maybe people's confusion about what we're actually up against right now, what we're actually facing, and how long these systems and structures have been working in this way. We've always seen that. It's just becoming more visible to people now. And so Echoes of Unity is an opportunity for those of us who have been on the margins to lean into our cultural wisdom, instinct, experiences. But it's also an opportunity for us to share those things across cultures, because we have our experiences, we don't have all the experiences. And the more we can use the good, the bad, the ugly, the hurt, the sorrow, but also the joy as a tool for forward motion for all of us, but especially in the ways that our individual communities need it. That's how we keep this thing going forward.
Nice. And I know that could be, I know because I'm part of this celebration with the
Yes.
the whole conversation of the one day, one Minnesota Echo of Unity. I am fortunate to be able to put a supplement out that we're sharing with Minnesota.
It's so pretty.
We love it, and we're going to make sure that everybody that wants to gets their hands on a copy of it. But what's going to be happening the day of? Share that with our viewers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. So, as you know, our community has been celebrating the life, the legacy of MLK since he was still walking on this earth, right? So for us, MLK, Black History Month, and Juneteenth, those are always so tender, you know what I mean? So deep, but also an opportunity for the people around us who claim to be allies, who want to be there for us, who want to understand, to really be in that with us. And so the cool thing about the MLK celebration here in Minnesota is that we don't play. It's not a day. It's not just one day. We expanded it to a week. The incredible leadership of the Chief Equity Officer before me, Dr. Stephanie Barrage, was the one that was like, nah, hold up, let's stretch this thing out. And we've kept that alive. This is the third year coming. And so what we've been doing is essentially meeting with different groups and talking about leaning into different issue areas that reflect the work or the the real true reasons why the problem areas, right? Not just the fluffy solutions. Like, let's talk about economic mobility and barriers to employment, not just how great it would be if workplaces were inclusive, that type of thing. So to talk you through each of the events, we're kicking it off next Thursday. We're celebrating MLK's actual heavenly birthday. On January 15th, we'll be kicking off at the Humanities Center and going on a landmark civil rights tour. Many of the MSR listeners, I'm sure, do know this, but not everybody does know. As evidenced by people being surprised that an uprising started here in 2020. We have always been plugged in the civil rights movement. We have always been a stop on the Underground Railroad and a space for Black leaders to come and think and do together. And so that's what that day is going to be about. The classic rivalry, Minneapolis versus St. Paul. We're about to break down those walls too. Yes. We're taking 2 buses, one to some amazing spots here in Minneapolis, and then we're also doing the same in St. Paul. My favorite part is that after all of that, after we go and experience these spaces, we're going to come back and have dialogue about that. We're going to have dialogue about the similarities, the differences, and most importantly, what we're going to do about it going forward when we leave that space.
And you said coming back to the
That's correct.
Humanities.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's right. So we'll feed folks, make sure that, get their bellies full. But also, we're going to get this work. It's like, how do we can talk about past and present and future, but it's a choice to carry that with us every day. And so that's what that one's all about. We're not gonna get out of the moment that we're in if we don't understand the past and the leadership and the strategy and the intention that brought us this far. All right, so then the next day is one of my favorites. It's the Youth Summit, and I'm everybody's auntie. I can't help it. Yeah. And so the Youth Summit is absolutely lit. In previous years, it's been mostly high school students. This year, Project Success is teaming up with us, and they're bringing mostly like middle school students. And so I'm like, oh snap! I better wear comfortable shoes. But what we're partnering with Project Success. We're meeting over at the Science Museum. And again, youth don't need grown-ups to wait on them to be ready for leadership. What we need to do is expand our understanding of leadership and hear what they have to say. And so what we're going to be doing is talking about STEM for solidarity. How can we use the tools of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to solve the problems that they see facing their community that are most important? And so really, really exciting to just think about first and foremost, fields that are very underrepresented for Black young people, Black youth, Black professionals. But also, in addition to wanting to ensure that young people have exposure and experiences in the STEM space, again, that we're getting up out of their way and listening to what they have to say when it comes to solving problems.
Nice, and that's so important. And so we got the young folks, which we're also got some in here highlighting some of the work they're doing, which is super cool.
My goodness.
Wow.
Watch, the first year we did the Youth Summit, we did this thing to kind of wrap the day in a bow. There was something that they called a hackathon where the students had a little competition about solving a community problem. Why was there a 6th grade baby there talking about we could close food deserts or we could end food deserts with drones? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. Look, he's like, if we can use drones to deliver packages, how come we can't use that for food?
Yeah.
Just things that we don't even think about sometimes are so obvious right in front of them. So
they were like, this is a simple problem that you guys are complicating.
Look, you don't even know how to check your email. Get up out of our way. All right, let me tell you about Saturday.
Okay.
So, people ask me this a lot, like, how did you become chief equity officer? How did you come to work for the state? Let me tell you, I'd have knocked on that door for years. And I share that because not as a chip on my shoulder, but because that is a reflection, I think, of many people's experiences. And so the Saturday, we all know MLK was about the bread. He was about paper. He understood how economic mobility was power, but he also understood how having access to those things needs to be designed and again handled with care. And so what we're doing for Saturday is a state career fair. The Minnesota Management and Budget team pulls it together. I want to flag this for folks. It's a location change. So we moved from where we've been the last couple of years. And this year it will be held at St. Paul College, which we love because number one, it's more accessible. Number two, it's right by the Capitol. And if we're talking about state jobs, like let's bring people to a space where they can see and feel and be in that. But the last thing I'll say about the location switch that I'm excited about is that there's more space for networking and connection. And if we're being real, that's what has always felt missing from the public sector. You know what I mean? Like the whether it's local or state level, even national, we are constructed for mass information and scale, not necessarily connection and relationship. And so I'm really, really excited for job seekers and people that already work for the state to come together and just to be able to, share about opportunities that are available, share about their hiring processes. Folks can come through if they're interested in talking about resume building and that type of stuff. So just very, very excited to have so many state agencies representing the work that they do, the opportunities that they have, but more importantly, this intentional time that we're taking as a state enterprise to make room for people that were, let's be real, intentionally not tapped for, not welcome to work for the state. And it's correcting those historic realities.
Now, and because you're on Tracey's Keeping It Real, we are going to have to ask the question, so what's the likelihood of them getting hired that year?
I
What's
love
the
that.
likelihood of them getting a job?
I love that question. One thing I do know is the amount of people that have come through, the amount of people that have done, different like services or types of features that are there. What I don't know, but what we should track and can is the amount of actual openings at the beginning and then within like a month.
Right.
And so what I do know is that MMB has done a really great job over the years to be like, look, don't come through if y'all ain't hiring.
Yeah.
And that is that,
Yeah.
But to your point, as we have continued this movement, I think our measurements, and how we're evaluating should become more sophisticated too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
big ups for that one.
Yeah, because we want to make sure. I mean, I don't want a bunch of young folks to show up and there's none of them going to get a job, but
That's
they're lucky
right.
to be in there.
That's
We wanna
right.
Make sure that there's an opportunity for, I don't care if it's 10, at least make sure they get jobs.
That's right. That's right.
So that's a question. So
And to that point, one thing I will add, I do know for sure that agencies, again, like QR codes directly so you can apply and things like that. So just making it easier to navigate some of those
Yes.
things. But I do think, to your point, like kind of like, it makes me think of like fundraisers at the end of a
Yeah.
gala, like how
Yeah.
many of these things can we fill?
Right.
Ding a ding
Yeah.
ding. Yeah. Don't let me be in charge of it.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
okay, so then we went from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What's happening Sunday?
Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. So on this one, I have to give deep gratitude to community. So I'm born and raised here in Minnesota, and even I was shooketh when folks were like, "What happened to the community march?" I said, "The what?" In January, they said the march. So we did our research, talked to council, of course, continued the conversation with council members. And lo and behold, there has been, for many, many years, on and off again, marches, mostly, St. Paul to the but honestly, all over the Twin Cities and beyond. And so because of communities, questions and curiosity and, like connection to that event and time space together, we are bringing that back. And we're so excited to not only just be marching for marching's sake. Look, I'm just about to turn 40. So I'm right in the middle of like, I'm not young, but I'm not old,
Sweet spot.
Right, in the sweet spot. That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of nerdy. And one thing that I really hope that we are able to do across generations is bring the OGs and the young folks and then the people like me that are in the sweet spot all together. Because I was just talking to my mentor, Dr. Barrage, about this. It's not just about what you can see. It's about, it's not just about being seen in the streets or being seen online, though sharing our voice, our perspective, and all the advocacy is critical. It's also about being strategic about our actions. It's making sure that we're registered to vote. It's making sure that we're plugged in where we can be with the time that we do have. To participate in civic engagement. And so in addition to making sure that our voices are heard, because that absolutely is part of movement building, we are also going to make sure that nobody leaves that place, leaves the people's house without knowing, who's got your back when it comes to voting rights, who's got your back when it comes to access with different programs and things like that.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a day when you're marching from.
Oh, thank you. Marching from also St. Paul College.
Okay.
And so we'll be in St. Paul. And don't worry, y'all. The route is appropriately planned for timing. We don't want folks to be outside too long, but we also don't want it to be, like a two-step march. Right.
You don't want to cross the street and you're there. Yeah.
Come on now. Yeah.
I want you to know you were on a march.
Exactly right.
And so basically just dress warm.
Mm-hmm.
Wear
That's right.
comfy shoes.
That's right.
Wear gloves and hat.
That's right.
Know you're in Minnesota, I call it.
Come on now.
And so then how can people get involved beyond that day?
Yes. Okay, so beyond that day and throughout all of the days of the series, on the Equity Office website, the office that I lead, which is min.gov/OEOA, in case people want to look. But we've got a tab, like Event Hub, just for the MLK series, so that if folks want to get registered, learn more about what's going on, they can do that. In addition, that is also going to be where we share the outcome. To your point, who got jobs? How many people came through and what type of work emerged or deepened as a result of these things. And so some of the materials that, we're using for each of the days, we will be sharing after MLK, because we know, not everybody can be everywhere and do everything, especially in January, right. in Minnesota. Yeah. And so in Minnesota. So, one thing with regard to the MLK series, we will make sure, that we're memorializing what's happening and making it easy for folks to carry that forward, like on demand almost. But in addition, I would say one of the most important parts of my job as Chief Equity Officer is about platforming and amplifying the work that has been happening, whether or not people know about it. And so, we want folks to better understand how they've benefited from the work of civil rights leaders, Black leaders, marginalized leaders. But we also want people to know about just the everyday opportunities and better understand how those things are civil rights work as well. So to that point, we'll make sure that folks are able to join virtually where possible, that folks can tap in and keep those conversations and dialogues going. But then the best thing that folks can do, honestly, is making sure that wherever you fit in, if you're a person who's in technology, if you're a person who's in the agriculture world, if you're a person who's in the health space, state agencies and, local partners, obviously nonprofits are doing that work. Now is the time to squad up. And so that's what I would encourage people to do. Whether or not you're able to come through MLK, though we really hope to see you there, I would say that's the biggest thing. Don't be discouraged in this moment. The reason why Minnesota caught the attention of the country and the reason why they start and stuff here is because we're a beacon of light. Doesn't mean we always get it right. It doesn't mean we've never made mistakes. It definitely doesn't mean that we, don't have a lot of work to do, because we do. But there is a reason why folks are trying to tear down Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, and that's because we know that's because we know who we are, we know where we come from, and we're not going to stop.
Nice, very nice. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, and usually people don't like to see you doing the right thing, so. Hey.
Come on now. And speaking of that, and just in case, folks are not able to come to any of the events, the one thing I do want folks You open this conversation, Tracey, that it's a heavy-hearted week. It's been a heavy-hearted couple, of weeks. For those of us who have been through historical or contemporary trauma, it's triggering. Like I'm U.S. born citizen, seeing other people, you know what I mean, getting named this or the same type of propaganda, that we feel that in our bones too. And so I just can't say enough. I came in the space. I had to hold Miss Tracey's hand, if I'm being honest, because as human beings, as Black leaders, we've always known at what cost. We've always known the risk. We've always known what's at stake. But in moments like this, we also have to remember, and I'm not the best at this, we have to remember to celebrate. And that's what that last day is all about. So for those of y'all, hopefully you'll come through one of those events. But if anything, make sure to tap in virtually or in person for the holiday celebration at the Ordway, where we will be honoring 6 incredible leaders for the work that they do in community. Just giants, you know what I mean? There are modern day, like some of our modern day giants that are in journalism and philanthropy. It's like we have to remember that the giants that really busted the door open in the 60s.
Can we mention them?
Yes, let's do it. Let's talk about.
Can we mention their names now?
Yes, please. Oh, the awardees?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure that I get everybody accurately. But here, I'm gonna run down through my mind. So, drum roll, please. I'm giving them a drum roll. Okay, so we got Georgia Amazing Fort of Black Press.
She's wonderful.
We've got Shonda Smith Baker from St. Paul.
Another wonderful sister.
Yes. We have Brother Shane Price.
Brother Bad.
Yes. We have Marcus Carpenter, Black farmer from Route 1, Minnesota.
Yes.
And then we also are joined by Mai Thor, disability justice leader from ARC, Minnesota, and rounding it out with Xavier Vasquez from Centro.
Oh my!
And so, if I'm not mistaken, and let me go back to Brother Shane Price. I don't know that I went all the way through his organization. He's the founder of the Power of People Institute. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, like I said, what did we just talk about? We just talked about journalism, philanthropy, agriculture. You know what I mean? Justice. Yeah, and so that
wonderful lineup.
That's right.
Wonderful. They got to be there to see that.
That's right. Absolutely. And guess what? We're going to be not only, of course, in person. It will be streamed. Watch this. It's going to be streamed in 5 languages. Oh, that's right. That's right.
That is fantastic.
That's right.
We're talking about opening up to not just African Americans. So we want to make sure that everybody's included in this conversation.
That's right.
On Sunday.
That's right.
So make sure to listen in, follow. Go to, what's the website again?
Oh, it is mn.gov/OEOA.
Okay. And then, of course, you can come to the MSR. It's spokesman-recorder.com. We have it listed there as well. And again, we're going to have the lineup of what's going on in our special edition. So check that out. Ashley, thank you so much for coming and joining me. I love sitting down and chopping.
I know that's right. I know
that this is one project. We've just started doing things with you, but we look forward to doing a lot more with the governor's office and with you in the coming weeks, months, years, hopefully. So thank you for the work you do. Your energy is so wonderful. Just keep doing the great work.
Thank you. And I would say back at you, and same for the people listening. At the end of the day, we know what we got to do. We know how far we've come, and we know how far we still have to go. And at the end of the day, I'm a professional hype woman. So for folks out there that are doing the things, let us know. I would absolutely love to continue doing my best to get people connected to the opportunities that they should have.
Nice. And if you want to meet Ashley, just check her out. She'll be at all 4 of the events, all 4 days, when we're talking about the One Dream, One Minnesota, and we're talking about Echoes of Unity, and that's coming up next week, so come and check her out. And until next time, remember, Tracey's keeping it real. She's always keeping it real, folks. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking us out.